Hey everyone, Alex here. First thing I want to do before I dive into this video is say a huge thank you for all the great positive responses that I've heard to In This Void, which has been out a little while now. Pretty much all the comments that I've been reading are really positive, and I really appreciate your support. It's been great to hear that you've been enjoying the song, and I hope you enjoy the future ones that I'm going to put out this year. So with that said, this series of videos is going to cover the In This Void multi-track session. In this particular video, I'm going to go over the origins of the song and how it developed from that first demo into the final released version structurally. And some of the future videos in this little set will look more in depth at some of the component instrumental parts of the song, so like the drums and the synths and so on. But in this first video, I'm just going to kind of give a broad overview and show you how that first demo developed and the changes between it and the final version. The first thing you're going to see about this workspace here is that it's split pretty evenly in two parts. So the part over here on the left is the original working that I did on the song, and basically that constitutes the first demo of the song. And everything over on the right hand side here is the final finished version. As you can see, it's got kind of more intricate parts to it. It's got a few more tracks in there. And I've color coded it for illustrative purposes, and I'll go over the colors a bit later in this video. This is actually one of the larger sessions that I've worked on. This one has 68 tracks in it. Not all of these are used in the final version of the song, but most of them have found their way in there. Some of the tracks are like placeholder tracks or rough recordings, things like that that don't make it in. But like I say, most of them have actually made it into that final version, so maybe, I don't know, 60 or so in that final version of the song. There's also a pretty even split between MIDI tracks and audio tracks in this session. Pretty much everything in the top half of the session here is a MIDI track. So that'll be all my electronics, my drums, my MIDI bass, stuff like that. And in the lower half of the session here, that's all my audio tracks. So for me personally, my audio tracks are pretty much always just recorded guitar and recorded vocals. The purpose of the first demo really was for evaluation and as a prototype that I could knock together really quickly and get a feel for the potential of the song. So what could I do in terms of vocals? Are there going to be vocals that I can put on here and they're going to sound good quite quickly, or is it going to require more work? How's the structure? How do the instruments sound? All that kind of thing, just for a rough evaluation. And so I can mix together a short MP3 that I can just take round with me and listen to it and try and get ideas and build ideas for the song. So as such, all the guitar parts, which you can see down here in the blue colour, they're all rough takes. These aren't necessarily the effects that I've used in the final version of the song. A lot of these are inbuilt, well, all of these are inbuilt Logic guitar effects. And I've just done that for the first demo just for ease and for speed, to get that first demo together quite quickly. One of the major structural changes, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here, between the demo and the final version of the song is actually the intro. Around the 45-second mark of the demo here is where the final version of the song actually begins. The demo does have a very long intro. It's the first thing I wrote, since I nearly always start at the beginning of a song in terms of writing it, rather than write the chorus or anything else like that first. Don't know how other people work, but that's just personally how I do it. It's split into a little softer little portion here, then it's got a little bit of a heavier version, and then the verse starts. So I'm just going to play a little bit of this to give you an idea of what the song first sounded like with that first intro. So I liked that intro enough, but it was just a little long, I thought. Since it was the first song I'd released in a while, I wanted to really cut right to the action and right to the vocals. And overall, for cutting that intro, I don't think the song really suffers a lot. It's still of a pretty decent length. I don't think, cutting the intro has made it too short or anything like that. I think it just works better for the song that way. One other change that I made between the demo and the final version is the actual ending of the song. Since this was just a demo, it ends very abruptly, as I'm going to show you right now. So basically just one hit there and the song just kills itself. Whereas the final version, it's got a little bit more interest. It's got some of the bridge part in there, bridge guitar part. It's got a little bit more closure. So the final version of the song, the ending, is this. And like I say, that just gives a little bit more closure to the song. Finally, the demo doesn't really have any of the electronic finishing touches that I usually add to a song. And generally with all my final released songs, my writing process, it kind of dictates that I really like songs to have a good build-up. So maybe the second verse of the song will have more dense electronics than the first, or the last chorus might be doubled in length and then that second half has, I don't know, strings or more synths, some kind of more electronics there. Things like that. This demo has none of those at the current stage that it's at. For instance, if I just play part of the last chorus, you know there's not much going on apart from the core parts. Compared to the final version, which is just a bit more dense and there's more going on. And I'll go into some more detail on those actual electronics in there in another video. But yeah, the demo has none of these things because, like I said, it's just for quick evaluation and building ideas and things like that before I then go to the final version and do restructuring and all those little finishing touches. So when I was finished with the demo, I actually copied and pasted the whole thing over to the right here because generally I like to work non-destructively. If I'm going to make any major change to the structure of a song, which I actually didn't in this particular case, it's nice to retain that original version and you can go back to it in case something goes really wrong. And I've also color-coded the tracks in the final version over here just to give you a little bit of an idea about the actual sequence of all the recordings in the song. So the dark green tracks here at the top are the first electronic parts that I wrote. Then this gold section is all drums, which I wrote next. Then I added a bass line here in dark blue. Some more electronics here. Then the light blue are the recorded guitar tracks and the red are the recorded vocal tracks. So that's just a really quick broad overview of the multi-track session here of In This Void, and just a little bit about how that song came about as a demo and the changes that I made going into the final version. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Next time I'm going to go somewhat more in depth with the individual instruments and how they all fit together, their effects and so on. Feel free to let me know what you thought of the video in the comments, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.